Hello, good afternoon. Focus on strengths of people. We spend disproportionate time looking at the weakness of a person and spending so much energy and efforts in correcting that weakness that the person has no time left to work on his strengths, to develop his strengths, to keep himself or herself updated with reference to the technology and the competencies required to maintain that strength, while the weakness remains as it is. You ask anyone, even in an interview, they keep trying to identify your weak points, but don't check on your strengths. There's an anonymous story of a school of birds and animals. The principal, the newly appointed principal, he found that some were getting A in a particular subject, A grade in a particular subject, but getting D in another subject, while another animal would get A in some subject and D in another subject. He said, what is this? Too much variation. I must reduce the variation. So in their class, there was a duck. The duck was very good in swimming, got an A, but got a D in running. The principal made the duck spend a lot of time in running. The duck, the feet got worn out through running, and the swimming also suffered. And the duck got D in swimming and D in running. The rabbit got A in running, but D in swimming. So the rabbit was thrown into the lake, almost drowned himself, and became a useless runner thereafter. The squirrel got an A in climbing trees, but D in flying. So the squirrel was thrown in the air, fly now, could not fly, and dropped and injured herself. So like this, each bird or animal, good in something, had a strength that was overlooked. And the weak point was the thrust of improvement, which anyway did not happen. And finally, when the exams were held, in this school of birds and animals, everyone got a D. And like the principal of our schools, the principal was very happy that now everyone is at the same level. This we do in our companies, we do in our plants, we do in sports. We try to make all-rounders of everyone, so we don't get a good bowler and we don't get a good batsman who can win matches. Many years before, I used to do manpower consultancy. And people would come for the initial interview, shortlisting. And I had a particular checklist in my mind, a biased checklist. So there was a time when it was difficult to get a good software engineer for C++. So I shortlisted few people. One was from the top 3 IT companies in India, from the top engineering colleges, very handsome, tall, pleasing personality, good in soft skills. All the checkpoints were ticked. So I forwarded his biodata to the company. There was another boy who was rustic, very bad in soft skills. I will not say very bad, but average. But I found that he understood systems and programming logic and whatever I knew about that subject. He seemed to be quite good. So knowing that that big company, which focuses a lot on soft skills, will not select this boy, but still I forward 3-4 biodata, which is the conventional thing. And then after a few days, I got a call from the company. I said, okay, you have selected that person who was very smart, well qualified. They said, no. We found him to be very shallow. We selected the other person from Eastern UP. I was very happy. But it shook me. Because I was focusing, I was looking at the weak point. I forgot that a company needs a person with core strengths, because that is the way they will use him. That is what will bring results. A salesperson who cannot get sales is of no use. He may not be good in making reports, but does not matter. That can be supplemented. But if he can't get sales, if he can't get customers, if he can't talk to customers, if he can't negotiate, if he can't convince, if he can't close sales, it's of no use. He might be very good in submitting reports. What will I do with the software engineer who is not good in coding? What will I do with a production person who is excellent in English, but he cannot get me the output from the manufacturing line, the desired output and the desired quality? So the learning lesson is we should focus on strengths. Then you will put this question, then what do we do with the weakness? Do we allow the weakness to be as it is? Will it not become an obstacle to the person's growth and to his achieving the targets? Well, we should brainstorm, we should think a way out of circumventing that weakness, of supporting that individual to manage that weakness. You have to pinpoint, for example, if English is the problem, then what English does he have to talk? Can't we put it into a template form so that he can go through that template? Maybe it will have 4 or 5 lines. He can remember it and speak in front of his customers and stakeholders. And if he has to send an email, again, that template with few things changed so that the grammatical errors will not surface. Rest has to be the talk which a good salesperson will be able to manage irrespective of the language. So you have to see where that person is lacking and what can be done to manage that. As you see in McDonald's or Pizza Hut, the boy or girl will come and ask how was the food, sir, and you will say it was very good and thank you, sir, come again, and exchange those pleasantries, and you will think, oh my God, this person has excellent English. But actually, it's a template-driven English. You change the answer to the food was bland, then this is outside his syllabus. He will not be able to answer it. Same way when you make a call to a helpline or a call center, you get correct responses in good language. It's template driven. So you have to think of that kind of a toolbox, because you do not want to lose on that person's strengths. Because all the while, if he's going to focus on English and not the thing which is required to get the results, he will not have time. How will he update his software skills? He has to spend a lot of time in acquiring the skills, the proficiency, where his strength, his passion, and his interest lies. So focus on a person's strengths and complement his area of weakness through technology, through templates, through systems, and even with an extra person or a robot or any such device. It is still going to be less expensive than getting or keeping an average person. Thank you for your active listening. Do subscribe to my channel and press the like button. We will meet again tomorrow with another thought, another observation, and another learning nugget. Bye for now.